You are now listening to Rings Kings Boxing World Flash Report.
All right, shout out to you guys. Appreciate y'all being in this episode of Ring Kings Boxing. I'm Big Q. Man, listen, man, we got another one for you today. Crawford summary. This is the summary, but this is the samurai. Crawford Samurai post ignites talk. He wants $100 million, and critics say it's time to face Benavidez. I don't see him going at Benavidez. We covered that. That's why David is going up to 175, or rather participating. He already has a crown there. Is building up from 175 and going higher as he's trying to lock in the fight with Bivol. I know he has better Beterbiev is a mandatory for his belt. That would be a good fight until you get Bivol. So that would definitely be two legacy fights for David Benavidez as he looks to be one of boxing supremes. So anyway, let's get right into this. Is Crawford, man, I hadn't did a broadcast since Terence Crawford beat Canelo Alvarez, and just really did a wonderful job, man. I watched the fight when it took place, and Terence Crawford, man, and it cannot be understated about Crawford, how he was able to literally put on a boxing clinic against Canelo Alvarez. We know Canelo was a bit older, but what impressed me about Terence Crawford is the fact that he did not take a fight at that weight class. And that's usually what some people do, is they'll take a fight at that weight class and get acclimated, then move to the next one. Terence Crawford didn't do that. He went up several classes to fight their guy. And we're talking about arguably who some consider the best fighter on the planet in Canelo Alvarez, pound for pound king. And Terence Bud Crawford went into the arena and put on a clinic against Canelo Alvarez. I mean, without taking a fight in that class, and he just outclassed Canelo, beat him to the punch, was supreme in his fight ability. He could have really knocked Canelo out if he pressed, but he respected him. And he just was incredibly skilled. So shout out to Bud Crawford. He accomplished something that he himself seen in his mind that others did not see. He became that guy. He is the guy. He's on the Mount Rushmore. And then you just have to look at Bud Crawford and say, man, he's achieved the level where he's an elite level fighter. He's considered the pound for pound king of his generation. He's an all-time great. And that just says a lot, because you see so many fighters and people, period, fight through to make it, and they know in their minds that they're actually better than what people perceive. And this huge self-realization, man. So Bud Crawford deserves all the credit in the world for his accomplishment, man. But $100 million is what what the coach was saying that he wants. Remember, Canelo was making this demand where he wanted this, and they're just simply borrowing that idea. So look at this shot right here of Bud with all of the belts, man. Everything. He has all of the belts. He is the man, and he's the king. So shout out to Bud. All right, so no easy payday this time. Crawford coach Bernie Davis said yesterday that the price tag is $100 million to get him back in the ring. And listen, that's greatness, man. That's greatness. BoxingNews24.com on the scoop. It's $100 million to get him in the ring. If Terrence's number, his benefactor Turki Al-Ashik, is going to have him to get him to agree to stick his neck on the guillotine to face David Benavidez, I don't think that fight happens. But if Bud wants the money, he's going to have to show some courage, climb up the foxhole and meet the Mexican monster on open ground. I don't know this writer then had to gourd and point at Bud Crawford talking about show some courage when he beat a guy who was considered the pound for pound king. I don't think Bud Crawford has a problem or have a courage issue in fighting a David Benavidez. I don't think he sees it as it, like when he was supposed to fight a guy like people saying, why does he fight Boots Ennis? He had no interest in fighting Ennis, because if he beats Ennis, he gains nothing. That's how these guys think. They want to fight up. They're not trying to fight on a playing field or a flat plane. They're trying to ascend like an helicopter. So, I mean, or rather better yet, or an airplane. Even though both of them ascend, but the correct one would be the plane on an upward trajectory. So that's what they look at. That's how Crawford looked at it. That's why he didn't want to fight Boots Ennis. It had nothing to do with fear or having lack of courage. But the fight that would attract massive amounts of interest globally, if Crawford wants to keep making the kind of dough that he got for the Canelo fight facing Benavidez, is the way to do it. He is that now. That's the thing that people has to realize, is that Canelo Alvarez, who was the one that was making these $100 million demands about what it'll take for you to get him in the ring, that's Bud Crawford. I done beat you pound for pound, guy. I am he. I am that man now. So anyway, that's a fight that would attract massive amounts of interest globally if Crawford wants to keep making that kind of dough. Mount Rushmore still out of reach. This is what the writer's saying. Moreover, the best way for Crawford to earn a spot on Mount Rushmore of boxing, he lacks the credentials right now to be a top 4 or even the top 20. Terrence's resume is empty of wins over young elite fighters. Man, who is this writer? Who's this dude? Nation Vegas. Man, cut it out, bro. Cut it out. You can see this guy was a guy that loved Canelo. Cut it out, man. He is on a Mount Rushmore. Cut the bullshit. He beat your king. I'm pretty sure the guy liked the Canelo. He beat your damn king. He beat him badly too. If it was all about how it looks, he didn't struggle to beat Canelo Alvarez and barely won on points. Now, he beat him soundly and won it unanimously, and he could have pressed and knocked Canelo out if he wanted to. He didn't. I mean, you go back and watch the fight. I've seen him ducking his shots and countering it. That's why Canelo wasn't trying to throw those shots. He knew that Crawford would time him and counter. It was doing some great counter punching in that fight. So he is on the Mount Rushmore. Stop the cap. The idea of Crawford moving down to 160 to fight a world title against one of the non-popular middleweight champions, no, he's not going down. So you see these couple of names. None of these guys entices Bud Crawford to get in the ring. None of these guys. You know, the fights that would likely attract interest involving Crawford are those that would possibly lose against the following fighters. He said would possibly lose against these. This guy's a hater of the man. He wouldn't lose to no David Benavidez. He wouldn't lose to no Bivol. He wouldn't lose to Artur Beterbiev, Jaron Ennis, or Mbili. That's not true. You know, how would he lose to those guys? You know, and most of the guys, Canelo would beat some of these guys, but but Crawford is still being disrespected. He's on the Mount Rushmore. Crawford's victim narrative. Turk Al-Ashi wanted the best for me because he saw how it was getting blackballed. He saw the system. Man, I don't see how people can sit up here and talk this shit about Bud Crawford. This writer is an idiot. Hey, man, listen, I don't mean no disrespect, but listen, you can't sit up here and type away, because he ain't writing shit. He typing away a hatred and trying to talk about his record and all this. He beat who he was supposed to fight. Whoever you put up in front of him, he beat these guys. He beat your champions. He beat the Errol Spencers. They made excuses of Errol was weight drained. Then why the hell did he get in there and fight then anyway? You know, why did he take the fight if you feel you could have backed out of the fight and rescheduled whatever you had to do? But it's the same story. It's like Bud Crawford talked about. It's the same story. No matter who they put in front of me, I beat him. And then they say that the guy wasn't nothing once I beat him. There's not a pound for pound guy that's left that he needs to crush. He's crushed the pound for pound guy. The people that pushed up there for all this time said this guy was the pound for pound guy. And one of the greatest, Canelo was on a 12-year, 12 years? Holding belts and billing his name, making money, touring the world, you know, carrying his nation and people on his back. And then Bud Crawford beat the man fair and square. Not only did he beat him, he put him in a clinic, in the mixer. He just really did it. But in the end, despite whatever happened with Top Rank or whoever he fought previously, you can't take away the fact that the man was a champion at multiple weight classes. The fact that he moved up multiple weight classes without taking a fight to beat your champion, to beat Canelo Alvarez, who I have a lot of respect for. But I hadn't seen Canelo get beat that way since we'd seen the Mayweather fight. You know, the only other fight that makes sense, like in terms, and of course he could fight anybody if Turkey puts the money up. And he said that, man, you put 100 million up, I'll fight whoever you put in front of me for the money. He'll be fighting for the money. He secured his legacy. But at the end of the day, the only other fight I would want to see, a fight that makes sense, is if Bud fought like a guy like Mayweather, who's undefeated. And I would ask Mayweather to stop fighting exhibition because he don't want a loss. Let it mean something. Go ahead and train, get where you need to be, and then accept the fight, you know, where it counts. Like put your 50 up, put your 50-0 up against Crawford, because he's still in great position. I would love to see that fight. I would love to see it. Now, the dumbass fight he has against Mike Tyson, need to stop playing, man. If you want to really fight somebody, Bud Crawford is there. I would love to like to see that. I'll be honest with you. That's a very, because Bud is still in. Mayweather's still in great shape, and Terence Crawford would be there. And I would love to see that fight, if it was for real or if it was exhibition. I don't think Mayweather not taking an exhibition fight. He ain't taking no chances. All right, and then of course he got the man listing his PPV numbers about what he has. The reality is Crawford didn't sell on pay. What does got to do with anything, bro? What does got to do with it? The fact that he didn't sell on this? Well, it don't make a difference now. It don't make a difference now. He is paying. He is the pay-per-view champion. You're trying to disparage him, asking for $100 million, but hell, Crawford, he's doing what Canelo Alvarez did. Remember, Canelo Alvarez told David Benavidez, well, didn't he tell him, for you to fight me, it'll be $100 million or something like that? I think he was more than that. Y'all put it in the chat and remind me. But there is no taking this away. I don't care about his pay-per-view numbers and how he didn't sell. All I know is he beat the champions to take the belts from him. And they still saying the man not a guy. He beat the guy that's going to be a Hall of Famer, and the guy was still pretty much in great shape and holding the belts and could beat people on any day. It was not a fight. Terence dispatched Canelo Alvarez, put him in the clinic, and took his belts from him, and respectfully gave his belts back to him. And they asked him, Stephen A. Smith asked him, why did he do that? And he said, because they're his belts. They're customized. They have his names on them. I will have my own belts. That's a gentleman. He could have did that behind the scenes. He did it in front of the camera. Bud Crawford don't have to spin or play to anybody's expectations no more, because Bud Crawford, guess what? He's the champion. He can ask for $100 million from Turki Al-Sheikh. He is the generation's champion. He beat the pound for pound king. Beat him badly. And now he is the man. So cut the hating and start appreciating, because you're watching greatness. With that being said, I'm going to get out on that. I appreciate y'all. Y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'll be back for more boxing commentary. I'm Big Q. This is Ring Kings Boxing. Peace.
Subscribe now and make Ring Kings Boxing your source for all the latest fight news.